Hi, welcome back to Buckle Up Wildcats, the High School Musical, the series, the Rewatch podcast. My name is Audrey Ashcraft, and I am your co-host.
I'm Haley Clark, and I'm also your co-host.
Slay! So, as you guys can tell, we're back in our studio.
Yay!
We do have, new camera in here, and the saturation is, mega cranked, and so the lights were, you can probably tell the saturation's, pretty bad in here from the video quality. But the lights were, very glaring. So we do have them turned off, and then we have stage lights.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we like that. But yeah. So it's kind of fun.
Yay.
Anyways, today we are doing episode 4. Oh my gosh, I literally need to look at this. Episode 4 of season 2, entitled The Storm. Mm-hmm. And I'll give just a quick little recap about what happens in this episode. So basically, during practice, we see... Okay. Let me get zen. Apparently, I'm just off my rocker today. Okay. So during rehearsal, we are seeing conflict between Carlos and Gina. And then we get a power outage and a snowstorm, and we see all of our Wildcats are stuck inside the school. We see Gina and Carlos have a little go at it. We see EJ struggle with college acceptance, and we see Nini struggle with whether to stay or to go. So that's kind of this episode. Yeah. What did you rank this episode?
I gave this one a 7 out of 10. It's real. But maybe in my heart I wanted to rank it lower.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need to... I don't know.
I ranked it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. I feel like that's valid.
I've not been... feel like I'm progressively enjoying each of these episodes less and less.
Yeah. This one was just... I feel like I say this every time that it's boring, but it was kind of boring.
Yeah, low-key.
It's nothing's happening. Or I don't care about what's happening.
Yeah. No, that's so real.
Yeah.
And then there's only one song in this episode, which it feels like they're not singing.
I literally was like, there's not a song at all. And then Nini sings her song, but
it's just, I remember when the show was a mockumentary.
Yeah.
Her song was Granted. Mm-hmm. And I think that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
All of the Olivia Rodrigo songs are good.
Yeah.
I guess this is just one she's singing. She did not write this one. Mm. I put it in my ranking in 10th place, so that's in between... Okay, actually 9th place. That's in between The Perfect Gift and 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Which is just where I kind of feel like it should go.
Yeah, I agree.
It was pretty good. It's good. It's definitely... I don't know. I have Out of the Old above it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I still agree with that, but...
Yeah. It's just, it's not super long, and it's just, I don't know.
It's so... Yeah, it's a different style, too, than I feel like...
It's really interesting.
I'm taking it for... I'm like, okay.
Yeah. She sounds good.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are maybe just not my favorite part. Mm-mm. But okay. Not every song can be the best.
I feel like Nini's storyline in season 2 is just a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And I feel like this song kind of exemplifies it, but it does make sense in this episode.
Yeah.
It does make sense, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your favorite and least favorite moments?
My favorite was... my favorite I put was Gina and Carlos. And even though they were, fighting, but then they have that whole thing where they talk it out and they, talk about why this choreography means so much to them and whatever. And I feel like that's a good friendship moment between them that we see, even though they're both, pretty strong-headed and go at each other. But
no, I agree.
It's good.
I really do think that they're a highlight. So far this season, they've been really...
I agree.
Good. I'm I really like them. a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely feel like I didn't realize that a sign of maturing was that I was going to like Carlos so much.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, guys.
It's so good. I love Carlos.
I was like, he's been great.
Yeah.
What was your least favorite?
My least favorite was that some moments just feel kind of forced, like, between characters, and I don't know if I can give a specific example, but I feel like that's something that we've seen, like, kind of throughout the show, but it isn't as big of a deal because it's, like, one scene. But I feel like every scene in this episode was, like, forcing conflict or, like, just people to fight. I don't know.
Yeah, and, like, that's kind of what I wrote for my least favorite. I was just, like, the vibes were just off a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a really high tension.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
And, like, so when I was making the thumbnail for our season 1 recap, I was looking at like posters for the first season, and one of them said like they're almost all, like the big catchphrase was they're almost all in this together. And I feel like we mentioned this a lot watching season 1. I feel like they really were a team.
Yeah.
Like obviously there was some messes, but really they were a team. But now I feel like there's just like weird moments where they like all secretly hate each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's weird.
Okay, I really liked the dynamic that you guys built up before.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite was I actually thought Miss Jen was really good in this episode, and I don't really say that all that often. Yeah. But I thought she was really fun, and I think that she was a really good character to pair Nene with.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was good to see the connection between them. Yeah.
I'm like, definitely highlight. So, yeah. Okay, did you have any Utah moments?
Not really. Only that when there's a huge snowstorm like that, they don't plow the roads that quickly. So
no, but nothing would have been shut down.
No, they would be like, there's no way they'd shut down all the roads. Even if it was blizzarding. I feel like that's just kind of like, people are used to that. Yeah. But they wouldn't bring the plows out until it's already iced over.
That's already
so
real. When they were like, everything's shut down, I'm like, we're literally known for our snow. Yeah. Like, great as snow. I'm like, yeah. Life would go on.
Yeah. Also, I feel like most of them live within a walking distance from the school. Yeah. I feel like they could have been like, let's go to this person's house. Or like, whatever. Yeah. And the whole... you don't want to walk in a blizzard, but...
No, that is fair. But also, like, it's not that deep. No. I remember, like... Gina being like, when Gina like freaked out, and she's like, everyone, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. I guess she's actually not from Utah, so I guess character-wise that makes sense. But she's like, text your parents, everyone, blah, 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 reserve your... I'm like, my parents I would literally probably like do the powers out of the school. Yeah. And that would be the extent of text they got. Yeah. Power went out at school all the time. Oh, yeah. Especially pre-2020. Because remember, we were like... in 8th grade, and there was, like, this horrible snowstorm, and they still made us all go to school. Yeah. And they wouldn't, and, like, we couldn't, like, everyone was, like, hours late, because the school was, like, the traffic was so bad, and I just remember, like, that was the first time they finally started letting us have school days, and, like, this is all pre-COVID still.
They never let us stay home.
They never let us stay home pre-COVID. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. I was like... Yeah. Yeah. Anyways... That is true. I put that. I was like, there's no way that shutdown would be that big of a deal. Or that they would be that, like, distraught.
Yeah, I agree. And I also feel like the way they were like, okay, the storm lasted for, like, an hour, and then it's, like, completely cleared up. And now, like, that just doesn't happen. Like, if there's a storm that bad, it's going to last overnight. Yeah. And that's just, like, how it goes.
I'm like, it would be okay. It would not be... that deep. I just am like, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like they were really dramatic, and I was like, I can tell you guys are all from California. Yeah. Because
that's so true.
we would not have reacted like that. I have some Utah moments. This is my formal apology about that snow globe. You can very clearly see the Salt Lake City Temple, and they very show it. It's my formal apology. Yeah. So sorry for claiming that. Also, you can see on it that it says the Beehive State, and I think that's cute. And we spent a lot of time with the snow globe in this episode. So there's that. Also, when they show the college room, there's a Utah State banner.
Oh!
Yeah!
I didn't even notice that.
It's like the one you can see the most.
Oh,
it's in the light. I was like, hey! That's Utah. I think one of the other ones in the top corner is Weber, but it was just a W and you couldn't see, like, colors very well.
That makes sense.
So it could be like another school with a W, but it could be Weber. But no, there was a Utah State flag. Like, very clearly, I was like, oh my gosh.
Slay. That's funny. I wonder if they, like, I don't know. Because I feel like
that's the first time we've actually seen a Utah college called by name.
Yeah, they did talk about University of Utah.
Yeah.
One time, which I feel like that's the more likely school for them to show.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't show a flag for the U.
Yeah. Because that's what I would think if they, like, staged that. They would be like, let's show the U. Because that's where we're closest. And, like, that's what Salt Lake's kind of... People know that the U is there. And that's kind of, like, a big deal other places, too. Utah State is so, like, a big deal. But just, like, not as prominent. Especially from Salt Lake.
Yeah, not as much the U. But, like, I was still like, hey...
Yeah.
That's Utah State. So we've only got Utah State and the U mentioned. I don't think they mentioned any other colleges.
Because I could see them taking down a BYU flag and be like, we can't show that.
We can't show that. Which, like, I don't see why not.
That's, like, one of the biggest things.
They show it in Stranger Things.
Yeah. No, there's so many people that go to BYU that, like, I don't know. Like, it's relatively famous enough.
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to hide it? They probably didn't, but...
I was just like, hey, that's Utah State.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Represent. Gotta rep the set. Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then those are my Utah moments. So I guess I'm ready to dive in.
Cool, me too.
Sick. Okay, Gina does the recap. And these season 2 recaps feel weird because sometimes I'm like... Is that really how that character feels?
Yeah.
Or are they forcing it on it to, like... I don't know.
No, it feels like not even overacting, but it just feels out of character whenever they're doing it. Like, I first noticed it with Ricky's, I guess, and I was like, that's kind of strange. Like, he's just acting weird.
I was like, this is
And then
weird.
Gina, too. I'm like, this is... I don't know.
I was like, you guys, like... I don't know how to describe it. I'm just like...
No.
Okay.
And I didn't feel it at all last season. Like, I don't feel like I was like, oh, that's kind of like just a strange way for them to do that.
I've just been like, you guys are really weird when they do these recaps.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, Nini is back at it again with those outfits. Puffy sleeves with the pink puffy sleeves with the yellow underneath.
Yeah.
Where do they find this stuff?
I have no idea. Oh my gosh.
It's just, I was like, oh my gosh.
It was bad.
It was really bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other comments about their scene?
I don't.
My next one is about the burglar story.
Oh, yeah.
That was Judge says about the cover.
I didn't have one until after that.
I thought she was funny. I thought that story was really funny and I really like it. But they're all like disturbing. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, you guys read too much into that. But I think it's funny.
It is funny.
Literally. I was like, this is so weak.
Oh, that reminds me of one time I was like home alone and this like, I don't know who he worked for. I don't know what he was doing. But there was like this maintenance guy and he had like a vest on and everything. But like that didn't mean anything to me. But he like came into my backyard and was like messing with stuff in my backyard. And I was home alone and I was like, I'm gonna die. This guy's trying to kill me. I felt like home alone. So... I would have thought it was an intruder, too. And if my mom wouldn't have hogtied him, but I wish she did. I was really scared.
Yeah, that is stressful, Loki.
Yeah.
So tea.
I didn't die, guys. It's fine.
Goodness. I'm like, also, I'm surprised Carlos and Gina didn't talk over...
Yeah, no, I put that. I was like, maybe they should have talked about this before they're like, let's teach the choreography.
Yeah, I'm like, do you guys even have choreography? I guess weren't they supposed to run Gaston? Because they said, where's EJ?
Well, I think they were like running this and then they were like, we haven't got this figured out yet. Let's run Gaston. But then EJ wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But
like... Do you guys not have each other's phone numbers?
Yeah. Can we not, like, text about this? I've never been to a rehearsal. Maybe because, like, I didn't do... Okay, no, that's a lie. When I was in, like, middle school, theater was the highest I ever did it, and we did, like, choreograph our own number. But it was because ours was, like, the most dance-heavy, and we had a bunch of people that were dancers, and so they're just like, go choreograph this.
Is this when you were in Shrek?
Yeah.
Future jazz dancers.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the girls that was a rat with me is a jazz dancer now, so... I danced at the same level as a jazz dancer at one point in my life.
I love her so much. I doubt she watches our podcast, but...
Probably not.
Anyways.
That was so great.
Thank you.
But I feel like you'd have the choreographers know at least an idea of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Before they go and teach it.
No, I was like, okay. Because, like, I remember when I was, like, drill captain, we would talk about this stuff all the time. Like, we were always like, hey, when are we going to choreograph? Like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Especially for, like, the biggest dance number in the whole show.
Yeah, for the dance number. Also, like, okay, I get that it's Lumiere's show. I get that. But also, the feather duster doesn't get to do literally anything else.
Yeah, let her have a
moment.
Yeah, I'm like... also, like, I don't really understand how they couldn't work those two ideas together.
Yeah.
They're like, it's one or the other.
It's one or the other. And they probably will work a...
Yeah, I'm sure they, like,
but I'm just
that
like,
was the point.
Oh my gosh. It's secret.
Yeah, it's fine. It's really fine.
Hey, Jim, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
This is my... The comment about the chocolates, I've always thought this. That's actually mean.
Yeah.
That's not funny. That's mean.
If I get embarrassed about something and someone, like, kept bringing it up, I would be like, And
he said it mean. That was mean.
Yeah, I was like, Ricky? No. I'd be like, I would be mad about it.
I would be pissed. Oh my gosh.
Don't make me feel bad about that.
Okay, so previously when I'd watched this episode, I've always been like, Gina's really dramatic in this.
Yeah.
But now... No,
yeah.
She's so valid. Every single thought, so valid.
Yeah.
I would be furious if Ricky was treating me that way. It's not funny.
Girl.
It's not. I'm like, I get that Ashlyn's just trying to help, but she really just does feel like an outsider. Oh my gosh, I really get it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. My next one's about when Nene shows up. And... I was like, I know it's Nene, but I would be really annoyed if she walked in and interrupted rehearsal. As Miss Jen, I know Miss Jen, like, really likes her and they have their moment, but... And if I was Nene, I would be like, oh, they're in rehearsal. Let me not disturb them.
Let me not walk up. No, literally.
I don't know. I love Nene, but I know everyone else does too, but they're like... They have enough problems going on now.
That's so true. I will say though, the next clip of him running out and like hugging her is so cute.
Yeah.
But no, she shouldn't have been interrupted practice.
It's really cute.
It is really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like the EJ scene with Nene.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of weird to him in that scene too, but I guess she has valid reason because they're not really friends.
No, that's the thing. I'm like, they haven't really talked.
And they did date. Like, they are exes.
Yeah. But then it's, I don't know. It's interesting to me that he's like, I only got into, like, one state school. EJ would have gotten into every state school.
You would have, yeah.
You don't pretty much ever have to apply now. But.
Yeah. I didn't even apply to a couple of them and I got accepted. That was my other thing. Is like, maybe he just didn't apply.
Yeah. He probably didn't, but from what we don't know what school he goes to.
I feel like...
But the school that it's implied that I feel like in my soul that he's at is probably the hardest school in the state, other than BYU.
But BYU is, like, weird.
Yeah.
It's based off... It's like, weird getting into it. Because it's not necessarily grades.
Mm-mm.
I've heard... yeah. But the U, because it does seem like he goes to the U, is the hardest school to get into in the state.
Yeah.
Other than BYU. But
yeah, every other school would accept you.
Yeah. I'm like...
You don't even have to really apply.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I mean, like, you pretty much just have to basically, like, apply and they'll let you.
Yeah, it was just interesting. And I feel like usually applications for, like, schools like Duke and stuff, like, they would be earlier, and then your state schools, like, you could still apply to those schools after you get in. Like, I don't know. And I know he doesn't want to go to those schools right now, so I feel like it's valid that he's, like, not really considering any other choice, but it was just interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so it was around this part of the episode that I was like, I was like, okay, the vibes in this episode are a little bit off, but they're not off like they are the next, like, you know, and I was like, okay, when is the COVID breakdown?
Yeah.
So I did some research, and I found this article, and in the articles was talking about whether or not there'd be a driver's license reference in season 2. But they also referenced the Salt Lake Tribune in it and stuff. So apparently, the first 4 episodes were filmed pre-COVID, according to Salt Lake Tribune. So my guess is at least the first 3 were all the way. There might have been some scenes in this one that were filmed post, which could be why things are a little bit weird. But I was like, 2 certain characters aren't weird with each other yet.
Yes.
Like, Ricky and Nene are not weird yet.
Yeah.
And they get weird.
Yeah.
And so this is the timeline. We'll probably go over this in the next episode, too, because this is where the line is, so we'll do it before. So COVID happened in March 2020. And they were filming. They'd been filming, I think, January, February. That's when they started. It gets shut down in March of 2020. Then June of 2020 is when Joshua Bassett and Sabrina Carpenter are first spotted together doing their at the protest. This is all drama. And then July of 2020 is when Olivia Rodrigo gets her driver's license. Okay, so around this time. October 2020 is when they start filming again. So that's kind of crazy. January 2021 is when driver's license comes out. And then February 2021 is when they wrap filming.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Good to know.
So there's a timeline for you.
I definitely feel like the shift from this episode to the next one is pretty drastic.
It is very drastic. But I was like, but some of the weird tension could be explained by that. But I don't think that this episode was really fully impacted. I just am like, they're weirdly separated out.
Yeah.
But my guess is then this episode was written pre-COVID.
Yeah, probably.
So I think that was just how it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I thought we'll probably have to go over that. We'll probably talk about some of that next episode too, but.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. That's about that for you.
My next one is about when they're in the car, and I just have, like, some weird comments. I don't know, not weird comments, but just, like, random things. But I was just, like, I was really confused about the timeline because Nene's talking about how she has to get back tonight because she has to be there for classes the next day, and she already missed Friday. And so I was like, well, does that mean, like, this is a Sunday and she has to get back for Monday?
Did they not? My guess is because she says in the car that it would be Monday at dinner.
Yeah, that's what. So then I was like, she said Monday, so maybe they don't have class on Monday, or, like, I don't know. I was just like, it was just, like, a weird thing that I was like, I don't know, because it would be weird if they were at the school on a Sunday, but they hadn't been in classes. They were just, like, in their club thing. So, like, maybe they would have practice on Sunday, not in Utah, but maybe somewhere, I don't know. But it was just interesting. Real. But it was a Monday, so.
I think, yeah. That's so weird. It is a weird, like, yeah, her timeline with her school thing is weird.
Yeah.
They just overreact in this entire episode.
For real.
Like, to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. My next one's about Gina, but I don't.
Perfect. You can talk. I'm like, because my next one isn't until the Mazzara moment with EJ.
Yeah. My comment was that I don't think that Gina's trying to cause issues. I think that things are just awkward, and, like, people are purposely making things awkward. Literally. And so she's trying to, like, compensate for that. I don't know. Like, she's trying to just, I don't know. And I'm like, and it's funny to me how, like, I get that Big Red's, like, trying to bring Gina into this and he wouldn't know why that's awkward. And Ricky's like, no, like, don't ask her about, like, this with Nene. But then he does the same thing in, like, the next episode or whatever, and I'm like, obviously this is weird for her, like, just as, like, Ricky knows this is weird to, like, ask her questions about Nene. And to keep, like, bringing stuff up, like, obviously it's just uncomfortable for her. And I think she's just trying to, like, not cause issues. And I don't think that she's being unreasonable.
No. I really used to watch this episode and be like, she's literally being so, but no.
Yeah.
She's 100% in the right. This is such a valid crash out.
Yeah, and when she's like, literally don't send that, like, I don't think that she's trying to, like, break them up. I think she's just saying what she thinks.
Yeah.
Because I could see, like, if Gina was doing something and achieving her dream, she wouldn't want someone to be like, don't do that. So maybe she's just giving her own advice. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like, leave her alone.
I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to think if Gina would want that, actually. With the
I don't know.
We see right now. I don't know, but I don't think she is being malicious. I really think she's just trying not to cause a problem.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad for her in this episode.
Yeah.
Actually, this entire season, I felt horrible for her.
Yeah. Gina's just trying to make it through.
She's just trying her hardest, guys. They're not making it easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, I get that they're all... I wish... I can see her frustration with Ashlyn, but I wish they would give her more friends.
Yeah.
Because it felt like we were going more that way with the first episode of this season.
Yeah.
And then, have we even seen her and Courtney talk since?
Mm-mm.
And, like... Yeah. She's not a character separate from Ricky at this point.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I feel
other than Carlos. She talks to Carlos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
But she's just, like, I don't know, like, isolated.
Yeah. And I know that's part of it. She's doing it to herself. But, like, I have a really hard time believing that, like, I guess Ashlyn is picking up on it.
Yeah.
But, like, Ashlyn and Courtney together aren't like, hey, let's, like, do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess Ashlyn kind of is. So I guess maybe that's not it. But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
They could have made, like, Courtney and Gina really good friends. They could have had her sleep, like, kind of... They want Gina to replace Nene in every other way, so I don't understand. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I liked the Mazzara moment with EJ. I think that's really good. He's definitely been a better character this season.
Yes, I agree. The only comment I had on that, well, I was like, where was he this whole time, first of all? Second of all, when EJ's like, do you still think about Caltech or whatever? And he's like, not as much anymore. Even if that's true, I wouldn't tell EJ that in that moment. I wouldn't be like, yeah, I still think about it, but just not every day of my life. Like, I don't know. Like, I think he just should have said, no.
No.
I don't.
Lied to him.
Yeah, come on. That's funny.
I just want to know what Mazzara's job is. Like,
yeah. What does he do?
Engineering teacher, AV club, and counselor, ?
Yeah.
Wow.
He runs the robotics club.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the robotics club.
And
the AV
club. Does everything.
And teaches engineer.
He's like the only other teacher at that school, so.
Yeah, no, literally. And is a counselor, ?
Yeah. And also, like...
And also maybe
personally victimizes every single child.
And has a list.
Yeah.
Of kids he's gonna get.
Yeah.
What class did Ricky possibly take from him?
I don't know. I'm like, unless it was like a required class that was just like computers or something.
Oh yeah, I can see
probably something like that. But
I mean, yeah. I'm like, what is this man's job?
Yeah. I don't know.
He does a lot of stuff. We've kind of talked about this, but I want to talk about it a little bit more. I love the Gina and Carlos conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they're able to both communicate, and even when she isn't ready to talk about it, he's like, I am here, but just remember that you do matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that too. I think, like, Carlos, like, sees her, and they're so, like, I think they're good friends, and they're really similar characters. Like, they each have their own issues that they, like, don't like to talk about all the time.
Yeah.
But I think they're very supportive of each other. And I don't know, it's nice to see that.
It is nice. And, like, I love communication scenes like that. And I think that's been one of my more frustrations in this season. It's just, like, it's just because they give scenes like that and they're so good.
Yeah.
And then they just will do whole things where they're, like, mean to each other. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, especially with the couples. And, like, I'm like, why are we, like, creating unnecessary drama?
No, literally.
Or, like, this whole storyline with them makes sense, and it makes sense that they're having conflict because they each have their own style choices, and they're both, like, so determined in what they want to do, but, like, it makes sense for their characters, but then they also, like, resolve it.
Yeah.
And they don't just, like, stay mad at each other.
And, like, thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, my next comment. I love Howie and Courtney, actually.
Me too.
I think they're so cute.
They are really cute.
And him coming and bringing her flashcards, so cute.
That was so cute. I know he, like, describes how he actually got there, but I was like, how the heck did Howie get there? When they were like, all the roads are closed. I don't know.
Like, couple back roads.
Yeah.
Stage?
In Salt Lake? What? I don't know. Also, when Seb gets his, like, update from the Farmer's Almanac, and it says that the roads are clear and the sheep are in heat. I am too much of a nerd.
Yeah, what does that mean, actually?
So, sheep come into heat, like, in their estrus cycle to be bred. They are short day breeders. So they only come into heat when the days are getting shorter. And this is February, the end of February. So the days are getting longer now, which, like, that's wrong. And also, like, September to November is when they're going to actually be in heat.
Okay.
And farmers can, like, you can manipulate that, and you could breed a sheep in February. But the Farmer's Almanac wouldn't say that. Because that's not, like, the natural cycle for the sheep.
I'm so glad you actually broke that, because I literally thought to myself, I have no idea what that means. That's such a specific joke. No one is getting this.
I'm like, that's
I'm wrong. Like, I guarantee you the 15-year-olds watching this show are not picking up on that joke.
No, it was so out of pocket. But it was so funny. But I was like, also, that's wrong.
It's wrong.
So, I don't know, it's so funny to me. They make it so apparent that Seb is, like, a farmer, but then he says the dumbest things sometimes. And I'm like, stop making him dumb.
That's so
And, like, the one thing he's actually passionate about outside of singing. I don't know.
Yeah, question mark.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful you described that, because I was literally like, I do not get this. But I was like, Haley probably does.
Yep. It's like you can breed sheep in February, but it doesn't usually happen. At least from the knowledge that I know. I took a whole class on this, so hopefully I know.
Hopefully you picked something up.
Yes.
That's so real.
Yeah.
Taking a bus to Salt Lake City to Denver sounds horrible.
Yeah. That would be too long.
Why is she not just flying?
No, that was what I was thinking. There was one time my parents and we went on vacation somewhere. I don't even know where, but we had, like, a layover in Denver, and then we were going to Salt Lake from there. And I was, like, young. I was probably, like, 3. I don't know, 2 or 3. And I don't remember it, obviously, but they talk about this all the time. But we got stuck in Denver because the security line was so long and they couldn't get through in time, and their flight left. And they had to rent a car and drive from Denver to Salt Lake. And they always talk about how it was just the worst time ever.
Yeah,
and it sucks.
I've done the drive from Denver to Salt Lake, like, 2 or 3 times. It's, like, not It's long.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that on a bus, like, it's like 8 hours maybe?
Yeah.
It's a long drive.
That's not fun. And I feel like, because it's not even like her flight got canceled. Like, I think she just, like, was planning on taking a bus
Like,
anyway.
she's been taking this bus.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds horrible. And then, like, I was in my car.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe her parents have enough money to
fly
get on a plane.
Yeah.
There's no way they don't.
There's no way. I'm like, and I don't feel like it would be that expensive.
Mm-mm. No.
From Salt Lake, we're looking this up.
Yeah.
From Salt Lake to Denver.
Because I can maybe see if she wasn't living, like if she was living somewhere else where there wasn't an airport as close, but it's literally in Denver, and there's an airport right in Denver.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, there's an airport in Salt Lake, there's an airport in Denver, and I know the Denver airport is really far out, but her parents don't have a problem paying for a car. Because they're not even driving her to the bus stop, which I think is kind of weird, unless they just can't.
Yeah, they're weird, like, she's so close to her parents in, like, the first season, and now they're just, like, non-existent.
They literally act like it would cost an arm and a leg to cast her parents ever. Like, all the time. I'm like...
Yeah, they're like, we can't.
How expensive are these actors?
Yeah.
So the drive from Salt Lake City to Denver is about 8 hours.
Dang.
And you have to go through... And, like, it's through Wyoming.
Girl. Why are they... And she's like, I have to get back tonight, and it's already dark outside.
Gosh. And I guess she can just sleep on the bus, but that sounds horrible.
Yeah, that just does not sound.
And that bus doesn't look warm, and I know they do that on purpose, but
honestly, if I was thinking about the bus ride, I'd be like, I don't want to go back.
No, literally,
that would have kept me there.
What really kept her there? Was it the people, or was it the fact that you had to sit on that bus for 8 hours?
For real,
I would have been like, dang, no. That means that means that Ricky just drove 8 hours to Denver, which I knew it was a long time. I knew that was, but it's a romantic act. I can't believe his dad was okay with that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I guess actually he said he drove, didn't he? I don't think they realized how far they are.
I don't know if they, yeah. I feel like he would have drove. Ricky actually has no money. So that makes more sense.
Yeah. I still feel like it's cheaper for one person to fly.
Probably than getting gas.
Yeah.
He took the same bus.
The same stupid bus, which is, I imagine, cheaper.
Yeah. But he literally, like, he went there and he came back. And I think he must have driven because he was, like, falling asleep. Like, in that one episode when he was, like, back.
And a plane ride would not be that long.
It's, like... an hour.
No, I'm like, I would cry if I had to do that bus ride. That sounds not fun.
I hate buses.
That would have kept her home.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah.
Anyways, those are my last notes.
I just said, how did Nene get back to the school?
Yeah, I assumed her parents picked her, because if I was her, I'd call my mom. But then she said, I'll drive you home.
Yeah.
And her mom just dropped her off.
She's like, great. That's so insane.
That's so
like, how?
Did she get another car?
I don't know. I have no idea. Because, like, yeah, and Ricky didn't take her because Ricky didn't know she was back yet. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I just want us all, this is just like a precedent right now. She was so excited to see him back. She did say he wasn't the only reason she came home, but she did say she came home for the people.
Yes.
And she was so excited to talk to Ricky. It was implied that what he should have said from the beginning was that he wanted her to stay.
Yeah. Yep.
I just want to settle that.
Yeah.
Make sure that everyone is on the same page before we enter into the post-COVID episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move on to casting our show.
Yay.
And the show we're going to be casting today is Shrek the Musical.
Wow, and we even talked about it.
And we even talked about it. We didn't even mean to. So, this is what my source says. She cannot be in the play, is she?
She is, but she doesn't do anything.
I was like, she's not in the first Shrek movie. So, we have Shrek, Princess Fiona, Lord Farquaad, Donkey. Oh my gosh, guys.
Yeah.
There is young Fiona, but I feel like with our cast, it's just gonna have to be Fiona.
Yeah.
Gingerbread Man.
The dragon's a big deal.
The dragon.
And Pinocchio's a big deal, too, but...
I literally don't even see Pinocchio. Why did they forget?
He sings a whole song.
He does a whole...
I remember, because I remember who was Pinocchio.
And Pinocchio. I wonder what this is. This is going to give us a good... This tells us, like, their voice parts. And blah, blah, blah.
Oh, cool.
And what gender they should be.
Oh, interesting.
So I think this is perfect. We can just do Shrek, Princess Fiona, Donkey, Lord Farquaad, Pinocchio, the Gingerbread Man, which is apparently named Gingy. I didn't know that. I've actually only seen Shrek like once, and it was during school. And then the dragon.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, perfect. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters, and I feel like we have about that many to cast.
Yeah. Cool.
Perfect. So I feel like who are we going to play Shrek?
That one's harder than I was anticipating.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry. I was like, let me go so far away from the microphone right now. Imagine I'm just like, achh. Okay. I feel like Joshua Bassett is, oh my gosh, sorry, Ricky is who it's like gonna be.
Yeah. I was thinking that, I was like, would they cast him as Shrek or would they cast him as Donkey? But I don't think he's fun enough to be Donkey.
I don't think he's fun enough to be Donkey. I could see Big Red being Donkey.
Me too. That's what my next thought was.
I feel like EJ's Lord Farquaad.
Yeah, I agree.
Except for EJ's like low-key tall, but I feel like that would be the joke.
That's the joke.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Usually they walk on their knees, and I think it would be funny.
I just remember
it's usually the tallest guy.
This is about to be probably one of the meanest things I've ever said on this podcast, but let me do it anyways. The guy who played Lord Farquaad when we were in middle school, I've never seen a more perfect casting in my life.
He was great.
He was great.
Did a great job.
I looked at him and I said, yeah, you would be playing Lord Farquaad. And that's probably horrible to say about a person. Oh, well.
He did a great job.
So good.
Yeah.
And then he was the normal amount of annoying the rest of my... Sorry. Okay. That's not necessary.
Oh.
Sorry.
Fiona.
Princess Fiona. Okay, wait. Princess Fiona, we have Pinocchio, Gingerbread Man, and then the dragon.
I feel like Courtney would eat as the dragon.
Okay, we'll put Courtney as the dragon.
I feel like, okay, we need who? Donkey, Pinocchio.
We have Donkey because it's Big Red. We need Pinocchio, Gingerbread Man, and Fiona.
Okay.
And we only have, we have Seb, Carlos, Gina, Ashlyn left.
Okay.
And then Nene if we wanted to do Nene. But
I think Ashlyn would be good as Fiona.
Yeah. I think we can make Ashlyn Fiona, yeah.
She's a redhead.
They both have red hair.
Wow. Perfect.
Red hair.
Yeah.
There we go. And so then that gives us Gina and Carlos and Seb left for Pinocchio or Gingerbread Man. Did any of them do a dance number?
Pinocchio has his song. He could do a dance number.
Taylor doesn't have a dance number.
Yeah. I feel like Gina would be good as Pinocchio.
Yeah, I was like, I think that I could see that. So Gina's Pinocchio.
Gingy, I don't know if I feel inclined either way more between Carlos and Seb. Either of them could do it.
Yeah. Let's just do Seb.
Okay, cool.
Because Carlos can do choreography.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so for Shrek, we have Ricky. Fiona, we have Ashlyn. Donkey, we have Big Red. Lord Farquaad, we have EJ. Pinocchio is Gina. I think I'm really warming up to that.
Yeah.
Gingy is Seb, and the dragon is Courtney.
Yeah.
That's so slay. That's fun.
Yeah. Nini can be a dragon scale.
Yeah.
That's an actual part in the show, don't worry.
It's an actual, and it's an inanimate object, which is going to be about my new favorite running bit.
Yeah. That's perfect.
So, yeah, look at that. Yay! We got our show all casted.
Yay.
Okay. I think that's all I have to say about this episode.
Yeah.
It really wasn't so super eventful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to continue to listen to us on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you're listening. And make sure to follow us on TikTok, because it's super cool, super fun out there.
Yeah.
We're really, really funny. And if we do say so ourselves. And, yeah, just make sure to stay tuned to watch us. We'll be back next week with the next episode. And it won't be a big COVID break in between.
Yeah.
For us. I guess there wasn't a big COVID break, like, actually airing episode to episode.
No.
But
they do say, like, 2 weeks, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah. That's a good point. But I don't think that it was because I think that because they didn't air any of them, because they were still filming, so we already actually went through them all out. They just put them all out later.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, so thanks so much for watching, and see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.